Goths never had a problem with emo until emo bands started wearing goth attire. I wasn't even aware, but emo started in the 80s. I was like, I've just never listened to the genre. I don't like the genre, but it started in the 80s and it came from punk, just like goth came from punk. But nobody got confused what was goth and what was emo, because emo kids back in the day dressed like street cred. I mean, it was like very hippie slash punk, like throwaway clothes, and then goths were obviously goth. Well, again, this is all from mall goth culture in the mid 90s when everything started getting into the mainstream and everyone started buying goth clothes from goth brands. And this is what escalated the gatekeeping. This is what started the fight between emo and goth, and also nu metal. Kitty and Coal Chamber, those are just two I can think of now. They were dressing goth, and it was just another reason to gatekeep and another reason for this discourse. And we can see parallels happening now, even on TikTok, with this next big resurgence of goth being in the mainstream. Younger people are thinking like Billie Eilish is goth, and the exception to this is, of course, what I keep talking about is industrial music. This is Skinny Puppy. Look at them. When they came out, it was like, and even before that, like industrial music was loved by goths everywhere until the mid 90s when Closer blew up. And even early Nine Inch Nails was loved and beloved by everyone. And it's just like when things got into the mainstream, that's when the major gatekeep happened. Things were just a lot simpler back then. If you were a goth musician and you were making music, that was goth music. If you were a hippie and you made hippie art, that was in the subculture. Nobody questioned these things. And the only time the word poser was used was like when undercover cops would like try to come in and like bust people for partying, or creepy guys would try to come in to ogle hot goth. My personal take on all of this is that I don't like gatekeeping, because as a musician that makes post-punk and dark wave, we need more listeners. We need more support. So if you're gonna listen to someone calling themselves goth and then eventually find my band down the pipeline, down the algorithm stream, great. Bands are suffering and we're having a hard time making a living as it is. And so to me, I personally just think if you want to think Evanescence is goth, if you want to think Ghost is goth, go ahead. I don't agree with that, but we can just, I rather you think more bands are goth than not. And this is just like how I personally feel about the topic.